what are the hotbeds right now for battery storage projects, for battery acquisition projects? Like, and we don't have to go specifically, but we're active obviously in Texas. We all know that. Everybody knows that. What other markets are emerging, or maybe we're active and have kind of leveled out? What are we seeing nationally?
Everywhere. Everywhere. It's the answer. Brent, we've done projects in Virginia, DC, Mississippi, all the way to Tennessee, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. It was really, really hot in Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and Michigan for a while, kind of that little strip right there. We're seeing a whole lot in Texas. We've seen some in New Mexico. Colorado changed their laws. California changed their laws. So, like, they were hot, then they were not. Uh, yeah. So, we're even seeing stuff going on up in North Dakota and or out in Oregon. So, it is literally everywhere where there is capacity available and where there are favorable, the developers tend to go where the queue times are going to be easier for
Shorter.
them to work with. So that's where we see the workflow. It's really interesting because we'll get a lot of Texas projects, and then, you know, the next week, all of a sudden I'll get a project in a random state. And the week later, I've got another client with a project in that same random state. So you can sort of follow the trends around. But still, that Midwest area, it's stayed sustainably hot. Texas has stayed sustainably hot. The only reason we're not seeing large utility scale up in the Northeast coast is just footprint and availability of land. That tends to be distributed generation up there. And so we're not seeing that utility scale up there because they just run a different model.
What's the difference? Distributed generation, like what's the
So distributed generation, it's going to be more where their utility scale is larger. All right. So that's going to be a larger footprint, a higher megawatt, and they're going to be on the very large uh, transmission lines.
okay?
Okay. Distributed generation is going to be on your distribution line. So they're going to be going through the lines of a local operator. It's going to be a smaller megawatt, and it's going to be to power a more centralized area or support back up to a more centralized area.
Okay.
So it's not going to be on the overall utility, but through the distributor.
Okay.
And
Okay.
with the challenges that they have, it's a very condensed area. When you get off from Maryland all the way up to New York, Boston, all of that, they don't have a lot of times 20, 30 acres available. You've got to move outside of those cities to do that. But they can put smaller 1 acre, 5 megawatt batteries in, and then use them within the distribution system to still prop the grid up in the same way. It's
Yeah.
just a much smaller footprint in a
Okay.
different
So
capacity.
just more localized networks that really can only support a smaller battery project than a larger scale like we see in other places. Okay. That makes sense.
It's a high level overview. We'll drill down
Yeah,
on that on maybe another
that's a
podcast.
explanation for a landman. Good enough.